Earlier this year, I picked up a Walthers SD75i from a train show in Dallas, and I wanted to recreate a locomotive that I saw pass through Austin about a year or two ago now, and that was CN5728. And I thought this model would be a good starting point, a good base. There's a few inaccuracies, and honestly the major one that required a little bit of surgery was the number boards on top of the cab. On the Walthers model, they stick out in these boxes. I went ahead and carefully carved those off with a modeler's chisel, and then filled in any gouges with some putty, and then retouched up the paint with Americana Scarlet. It was actually a very close match for the original paint. And then we added some additional details, the Walthers detailing kit with the grab irons, windshield wipers, the antenna on top of the cab roof, the coupler cut levers, MU hoses, and a new horn to match the Canadian National prototype. I also added some brake lines using some phosphor bronze wire as well, and then we gave it a weather-beaten look with just layers and layers of acrylic paint. Internally, it's more or less the same. It has a Lokesound 5 decoder inside. The model was originally DC only, so I added that. It comes from the factory with a speaker, which is pretty nice, so I didn't mess with that. And I also added a running light under the side frame, under the cab. I'll show you that in a second. But for the weathering, all I used were these acrylic paints from Americana. Raw Sienna, Raw Umber, Ebony Black, and I think that's Snow White. And you're just doing layers of paint and until you get it matching prototype photos or until you're satisfied. For that running light I mentioned before, there's this notch under the right side of the chassis under the cab, and it's the perfect spot for a running light. You can easily fit a surface mount LED, so that's what I did. I didn't want to mess with the original motherboard, which uses these plastic plugs, kind of like a Broadway Limited locomotive actually, but Walthers uses these plugs for their mainline locomotives, and I actually had an old board from my SD70 Ace project that I did, and so I removed one of the 2-pin plugs that I would need for an LED, plugged it into that part of the board you saw in that other picture, spliced in the wires for a surface mount LED, and then just glued the wires down so they wouldn't move, and tucked it under the board, connected it, and it works really well. And so you get the light shining down on the trucks, and it's much more noticeable when running in a darker environment, but I like the effect. Let's check out a brief clip of this thing running. This is really the only footage I have of it running at the moment.
Some of these give the detail.
So overall, this was a very simple project, fairly easy. The hardest part was changing the number boards, and if you went with an Athearn Genesis version, you wouldn't have to worry about that, but this was $100. It was easy to do for me. It was a nice project. I enjoyed redecaling it and weathering it and adding all those details, because that's something I enjoy doing. I hope you enjoyed this showcase. Hopefully I'll have some more to show you very soon. And just as a little bonus, thought I'd show you guys a little bit of what's going on. Excuse the hand cam, the free camming we're going to be doing for this. Just thought I'd show you a few what's going on the workbench, the very messy workbench. But this is the I think the newest acquisition is this guy here. It's an Atlas genset. I've already filled in all the grills there with some of the Tamiya panel liner. Fills in those recesses. It was in very good shape. It was missing few things. This battery box here, I ordered a replacement from Atlas. This antenna here, it was missing. Ordered one of those from Atlas. And the sunshades, it has one. I'm going to use it to make a pattern out of styrene for a new one, I think, rather than try to use any aftermarket parts for that. Atlas doesn't sell the sunshades for this early version of the genset, only the genset 2 it looks like. Also the couple of these handrails are a little busted, so I'm going to try some of this Loctite for plastics. It's a 2-part bonding system, so I know with handrails it can be kind of use a rubbery plastic that doesn't glue very well, so we're going to try that. Inside this one, let me put the camera down. I want to show you what I've done inside. So this is what the interior of this genset looks like. I might do a more detailed breakdown later in a video, maybe dedicated to it, but we've got our scale sound system speaker here. Wires bundle up very nicely. I had to put some glue here so it wouldn't pop out very easily. The original board that this came with was an 8-pin board, and I don't know how you could fit a decoder on top of that board and get the shell back on, because this was a difficult fit, all things considered. You do not have a lot of space. I actually ended up trimming down the pins to give myself some extra space. I originally wanted to do a platform from here to here, and then mount this decoder buddy and the decoder on top of it, and that just had not enough room. So we mounted the decoder buddy on some very thin styrene. I think that might be 0.05 thickness. It's like paper thin. And then just some silicone adhesive to mount it to the motor, and that's been rock solid. It ain't going anywhere. I've also, kind of see inside, I used some Broadway Limited crew figures. I painted some safety vests on them. Not that you can really tell. I can, but it's fine. I didn't want to add anything extra lighting or anything like this to this locomotive because it's a tight fit already, but I'm very happy with it. If you are looking to add sound to your genset, I know Soundtrax has I think a specific decoder profile for the genset with a bunch of other oddball locomotives. If you go with Loc-Sound like me, on the Loc-Sound downloads page, it's under, I think, Loc-Sound 5 factory equipped models, and you can download the file that they used for Atlas. It's from 2019, so I think it's maybe a little dated, all things considered, but I think it sounds pretty sweet. Okay, next up, my first Scale Trains locomotive, and currently my only Scale Trains locomotive until maybe this fall. I've just been doing that panel line filler for the grills here, and I have this one set aside because, I'll get to that in a sec. I've been working on this. This is a project I've been doing for a client. I was commissioned to do this weathering job for a friend of a friend, I suppose, and I'm very excited to get this back to them. This is an Athearn Genesis ES44, I think. This was primed for grime already. I went ahead and enhanced some of that primed for grime. It had a little bit of a brown spot where that blown turbo rust was. I went ahead and enhanced that a bit. Just the usual, my usual take on weathering. From the photos I've sent him already, he's very excited. I'm excited to get this back to him. So we're just waiting right now on a scale sound system speaker. It should be here tomorrow. It's going to replace that circular weight there. Got a Soundtrax decoder. So this thing should sound really sweet. And I'm very happy to get this back to him. Just want to mention this whole thing, no airbrush was used at all. This is all hand painted, and it's all using the same sorts of paints that I used on the Canadian National SD75i, more or less the same. One of the reasons why I have this guy out is I think I want to do a video kind of showcasing how I do that sort of weathering style without using an airbrush, because you don't need to use an airbrush. I have a very nice airbrush, I have the whole setup. I find it kind of a pain in the butt to clean, and when it's not working it sucks. When it works it's amazing, but a lot of times I just put this on the desk, I put some TV on in the background and work from photos, and I go to work. So I'm thinking about using this to kind of showcase the techniques and the painting style and the paints, maybe a more detailed breakdown, because you do not need to do airbrushing for a cool weathering effect. I think it's a very good tool to have and very good to know how to use, but I don't think it's super necessary if you don't have the space or the money or any of that. I'm in an apartment myself, so getting out the airbrush and the ventilation and everything, it is a bit of a pain. So anytime I can avoid it, I try to. But yeah, so I think we'll use, this one might be used as the example. I'm not entirely sure yet. But yeah, this is that Athearn Roundhouse Dash 9 I picked up at the Austin Train Show last year, I think. Wasn't sure what to do with it. And then I found a photo of locomotive 681, BNSF 681, and it's just beat to crap, and it's got the blown turbo rust streaking there and the faded pinkish white paint. And I decided to replicate that as best I can. This is very much a work in progress. It's been a fun project to work on, and hopefully I'll have a more detailed breakdown on what I did. We'll see how that goes. And actually, there is one last thing I will show you before I leave you for now, and that is I picked up one of these. Let me crack this open and show you what I got. So this is a Green Max, as you can see there, N-scale set of a Japanese 3-car set from the Hankyu Railway, I believe is how you pronounce it. Please forgive me if I'm incorrectly pronouncing that, but my wife and I got to ride on this back and forth. It's a north-south line that's less than 2 miles long, and it was really cool. I was so, interested by the scenery and the serenity, and it was a really memorable part of that trip. These are the trains you see in the anime, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. The park that these trains pass over, the river, there's scenes in that anime that, are featured, so we went there and we rode these trains. So I picked up this 3-car set. It's got a powered middle car and then dummy end cars. One of them has the pantographs, as you can see. It is pretty much brand new in box. I have all the paperwork on next to me with the other packaging, but a beautiful little set and very happy to have it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it right now. What I've been doing is collecting trains that we have traveled on personally when we do our travels, and it's really cool. I wish it was an HO scale. It would be a little easier for me to mess with, but being N scale might be the start of something new and fun that I can fit in the apartment. Who knows? But that's going to do it for now. I've got some work to do. I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you next time.